Welcome to a game between Tarkin in blue versus Stuart98, starting Rovers. So, Tarkin is starting tanks. This is the map Faultline. This is somewhat macro focused. You need to make quite a bit of mixes because, yeah, you can expand in all directions. This expansion is kind of safe. It's safe. This expansion is closed. So, yeah, you generally want to focus a bit on economy on this game, on this map. But it looks like Tarkin is gonna focus a lot on raiding. That is gonna put some time pressure on him to actually deal damage. So if he's going for 5 Kodachis early, you need to prevent the expansion of the enemy. His opponent has made a con already, so unless Tarkin is managing to slow it down that expansion, he's gonna fall behind. If you open with tanks, they have good raiding capabilities, especially against Rover, to slow down their expansion. So it's a decent choice to go for to try to slow down the expansion. But this map plays quite differently depending on uh, where you start, the start position. So you can go different factories depending on your start position. And he has a pretty good trade. He kills 2 darts there. That's nice. And his opponent is not reacting, or you're gonna get that max. That would be really nice. Yeah, you get that max, and you say that Kodachi. And yeah, Scorches can chase down the Kodachis, but on the other hand, the opponent managed to get its expansion up. You should have seen this going up. Did you see that going up? Because yeah, you should be there and try to prevent that expansion from going up as well. Meanwhile, behind this, your commander is staying safe near the base. You have 1 Lotus turret. It's a bit risky against Scorchers to leave the base with your commander. You need at least 1 Lotus turret for that. And yeah, Kodachis can't chase down Scorchers either. But yeah, now you're letting the enemy get this expansion for free. Like, you should have been aware of this. You need to. I'm a bit unsure if you scouted this or not. Let's see. Can I see that? Sure, I can see that right now. Okay, you did some damage, but the enemy is getting a bit ahead. It's a bit like sometimes you have to consider, like, can I trade health on my Kodachis and go and kill that mech? You could probably kill that mech, but the commander could have jumped forward and you could have lost Kodachis. So it's a trade you have to think carefully about. Now you finally started with span with your commander, and you just have 3 solars. On this map, you can put tidal generators inside this for a stable economy. If you put the tidal generators here, it's 1.2 for each tidal generator. Um, so it's better than solars. And now that you are expanding, you're starting to make some solars up here. Yeah, that's decent. Yeah. So yeah, your expansion has been pretty slow. Uh, like, if you have been more like careful, you could probably have. See, you can even kite rippers with your Kodachis. So yeah, that's good. You haven't lost a single Kodachi so far, so that's good. It's also a matter of like how active you can be with your Kodachis. Like, for example, if those 3 Kodachis would have been here, you would have prevented the enemy from expanding here. And the Scorchers can't really drive into the Kodachis, so really you should be up here and forcing the enemy to expand slower than they are. Like, if you had been on it, you would probably have prevented this expansion and forced them to like put some Scorchers here with more turrets. So yeah, it's kind of like an APM issue, like a multitasking issue, like being able to multitask and keeping your Kodachis in good places without losing them. So it's definitely something that takes a lot of skill to execute. Meanwhile, you are switching to ogres. That's fine. If you want to push right now, you are, yeah, if you want to push with this, that's fine. The enemy has rippers, so making an ogre or two in response is fine. You have no radar here. You're kind of lucky that Tarkin, that Stuart hasn't gone around and raided you here. Oh, you finally got up here. Yeah, you see here, one Lotus turret isn't gonna do much against three Kodachis, so yeah, you get this expansion. Going against two Lotus turrets, you're probably gonna lose one Kodachi and not achieve much, depending on how fast your opponent reacts. But that's the thing you should try to always do as much as you can if you have the attention to do it, the multitasking skills to do it, is to keep the enemy from expanding and forcing them to deploy like slow units like Rippers or stuff. Here, yeah, like the Scorchers can't really advance into the Kodachis, so yeah, the Kodachis is keeping the distance, that's nice. Uh, and how will Stuart respond? So yeah, now you let go of the attention and use one Kodachi. That happens. You might have seen that on radar, but yeah, it's easy to lose a Kodachi when you're not watching. Uh, and now you're being quite defensive, and you are a bit low on energy. Your opponent is making a lot more energy, so your economy is a bit unbalanced here. Um, so yeah, you kind of got quite far behind. Like if you see the metal produced here, you are still like you were even, but now you are lacking the energy to actually use that energy, to actually use that metal. So now your opponent is pulling far ahead. Let's see how this manage. Yeah, here's like your micro has to be precise. You don't want to get catched by the darts, but you also want to be just out of range, just in range of the scorches when they're driving, so you damage them. So this is where you have to like practice and get good at microing your Kodachis against Scorchers because yeah, even if the enemy has like so many Scorchers like this, they can't really run down your Kodachis if you're just paying attention. So Stuart realizes that and retreats. But if your micro is ahead, you could probably be a bit further ahead and prevent him from even doing that. Now you're gonna choose to attack the Stinger, and you're gonna get it. You're just barely not gonna get it. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah. Now you finally get it. Uh, so yeah, not too bad in terms of losses. But now your factory, I'm not sure why you don't have your factory on repeat. It's a good thing to have your factory on repeat. And you also don't have enough build power. So yeah, you need to be predict a bit more like when you need to build power and predict a bit more when you need to build energy. Like this map has a lot of energy. Let's see this fight. Enemies using Ravager, which is fine against Ogre. It's better than Scorcher against Ogre. Yeah. So yeah, the enemy is being pretty careful with expanding, so it's pretty hard to exploit that with touches. Oh, and you lose another over there. You're starting to run low on ogres. And you see here the Scorchers are trying to run down the, but they're not really making cost, trying to run down the Duchess. So yeah. So yeah, you have killed a lot more value, you can see here, but you're still not managing to spend your metal that you have. Uh, so you can see the total value is still kind of even because you have been killing so much stuff. Like Rover is gonna struggle a bit to make cost against tanks in the mid game like this. Uh, yeah. and there you lost 2 units, and that's quite a big loss for you. And your factory is still idling. Why is your factory still idling? I'd recommend repeat. There's nothing. What's the worst thing you happen? You have it on repeat, and you build units that might not be quite optimal, but it's better than like accessing the metal. And as well, if you're scared about stalling your economy, I'd recommend putting your constructors on high priority. So if you set your constructors on high priority, uh, then um, if you set your constructors on high priority, they will continuously build. They will drain resources first, like set your commander and your expanding columns on high priority, and maybe your energy as well on high priority, and and you will build your expansion and your defenses at your expansion as quickly as possible, which is probably what you want in most cases. And your factory will just can be on repeat, and you just spend your resources. So if we look at the metal produced here, yeah, you were pretty even throughout the game. You were even ahead in metal produced, so you were doing pretty good expansion. Like even if you go for a raid or heavy start like you did, you can offset it by forcing the enemy to be slow with the expansion to force them to bring out Lotus turrets. That's one of the advantages of tanks. Production strength can force your opponent to do that. They can slow down their expansion just by being annoying and being in the way. And if you're good at keeping them alive, you were pretty good at keeping them alive, but you could also be more active with them. So you have to consider that yourself, how active you can be them without losing them and taking too much damage. So yeah, you did very good in value killed, but yeah, just spend your metal. This is really bad. So yeah, try to balance your energy income, like your energy income with your metal income. You need at least as much energy income as your metal. And remember, I recommend putting factory repeat and your expanded constructors on high priority, and try to balance your eco. This is a high eco map, so be aware this is a high eco map. You need more energy than most other maps, and it's easier to take these mixes than most other maps. Those are my tips for you. Good luck. Have fun.